to everybody. So, in my speech, I will focus on the material evidence of games and board games in early Catholic context, specifically in Rome. And let's begin with this text, which has been written by an anonymous writer of the 3rd century. It has been in past interpreted as Saint Cyprianus, but currently we know that it was antique. The hand of the gambler ruined and condemned itself, and it's a hand that enjoyed an unlimited fashion, which is the board game, and which is a tool in the devil's hand. A hopeless source of sin. How fools are those Christians who gamble. In this activity they lose their mind, and they swear furiously, and blinded by a devilish haze, they hit and curse themselves, cursing and dishonoring their origin in front of the presence. It seems to be that the Christian religion will be against board games. And in fact, also John Chrysostom blamed the gambler who played dice and lose anything, returning home late in the night after having lost their dress too. And also Clemens of Alexandria in the Pedagogus forbid to Christians to play dice and astragals. Faust of Rienz, who was an English writer of the 5th century, suggested to turn the time spent on the board in a time of prayer and reading the holy text, at least in the time foregoing Easter. So it seems that the new Christian religion didn't match very well with board games, but in fact material evidence show a different approach, and we can begin with the catacomb of Comodilla in Rome. Despite of the fact that in 306 the Synod of Elvira forbid Christians to play alia or tabula or in general dice games, we found a couple of dice pasted in the concrete over a catacomb, over a tomb. We know that these small objects were placed on the tombs in order to recognize the tomb and also to pay a sort of to pay a tribute to the memory of the deceased person. So it's probably that the person buried under these two dice was a player. And it's clear that the number 7 displayed by dice is a biblical, it's referred to the Jewish heritage of Christian religion. The number 7 has a great importance in the early Christianity, in early Christian context. And also, near the Basilica of San Lorenzo fuori le mura in Rome, we found an evidence that tells us the name of a game designer. Maybe the first game designer which have a name is Lucilius Victorinus, and this epigraph has been made by his wife after the death of Lucilius. Artifex artis Thessalarii illusorie. He was an engraver. He produced games, board games, games tools, probably dice. Unfortunately, I don't have a photo of it. And in the same burial site, we found also a 12th scripta board which presents the name of the 4 mythical rivers of the Christian paradise inside the decoration of the middle of the line. My aim is to provide a photo of this board within the next year. Another interesting evidence can be found in the Ipogeum of Via Dino Compagni. It's quite far from the center of the city. We can see the Colosseum, and the Ipogeum is here. Okay, the Colosseum is there in the middle of the image, and the Ipogeum is here. It's a complex burial site which dates to the time of the Synod of Elvira, exactly the same time. And it's a tomb in which has been buried probably the member of one or at the best 2 aristocratic family of the time, and every tomb has a specific scene depicted on it, and it can be a Christian or a pagan scene. And this is one of them. in which we see a couple of soldiers, of late imperial soldiers, and we can compare this figure on the left with the main figure on the right, which has been took from the mosaic of Piazza Armerina, and we can remark that this is a soldier because of the swastika, the round shield, and also this particular design of the tunic. So it's a soldier who is playing against another soldier, and the structure behind should be a sepulchre. It should be. Comparing that building with the other frescoes in the same hypogeum, we can see a very strict similarity, and we can think that this is the sepulchre of Christ, or at worst the sepulchre of Lazarus. And this is the complex of the scene. This is a this is an image which has been produced pasting a couple of images together, so it's not perfect, but anyway we can see that in the middle there is a die, a single die. It's not easy to see, but by live it's quite remarkable that it's a die, and one of the soldiers has his hand on this amphora, which seems to be attached to another structure. Which seems to have been attached to another structure, and this is something that we don't have in any other frescoes of the period. We don't know what is it. It has been supposed that it can be a dice thrower, a sort of dice thrower. We don't have any material evidence of this kind of tools and any iconographic evidence. This is a unicum, and the picture is enigmatic also because it is placed on a Christian tomb, the tomb of a person who was a believer, a Christian believer, and we don't know what does it represent. It may be connected to this pass of John, where there are where two soldiers are playing for the tunic of Christ, but we don't know which is the correct attribution of this scene. What is certain, what is sure, is that this is a gaming scene. We don't have an explanation currently. We don't know what to find out of them. Another interesting evidence can be found at the complex of the Basilica of the Santi Quattro Coronati, which is one of the most ancient monasteries in Rome. And it rises on an highly urbanized area on the Celius Hill, one of the 7 hills of Rome, along the Via Tuscolana, on many meters of stratified ruins of previous buildings. And Cicero tells that on this hill there was also the house of the Pisones, one of the main family of the Republican and early Imperial Rome. And the Cataloghi Regionali tell us that there were 127 domus on the Celius Hill, comprehensive of senatorial and imperial ones. And as it happens many times during later empire, these great houses stopped or cut public ways. This can happen just during the late empire. And so this led us to understand the importance of this building. The graying area is the original one, which dated to the half of the 3rd, or at worst the beginning of the 4th century after Christ. It was a huge area, and it's been considered as a probably a reception hall of a great imperial domus. And on this complex, around 450 began to be used by a Christian community. And in particular, here there was the Titulus Emiliane, which was a noble woman called Emiliana, which probably built a church inside her private domus. Annexed to this great hall, there was a baptistery, which is the biggest of Rome of that period, after the baptistery of the Lateran. So this can allow us to understand the importance of this church during the early Christianity. Then, in 400 years later, the priest of this church became Pope Leo IV and empower the structure without touching the baptistery. And during the Norman sack of Rome by the troop of Robert Guiscard, the complex burned, and carbon and burned materials has been found on the ruins of the baptistery, indicating that it has been destroyed in the time before the burning. There is a restoration after the year 1100, which ended in 1116, and by 1250 a new cloister is built on the right side of the basilica, which has been reduced by the original size. And in this cloister it's possible to find this interesting evidence, which is a marble slab engraved and not scratched, which display this pattern. As we can see, a part of this engraving has been covered by the plinthus of the column, and so it means that this engraving has been realized before the construction of the cloister. And it seems to have a certain regularity. There are 14 columns, and if we take the column number 7 as the central one, we can see that all the 6 columns around it seems to be quite regular, except for the column number 4, which may have lost a part of it. At the top, it should have had a number 1, which would have made it completely identical to the column number 9. Then we have 3 irregular columns, and the last 2 are irregular again. We don't know what does it can be, but it has been suggested that it can be a board game by Matizia Maroni Lombroso in 1963, and she considered this game a game of skill, throwing a small object, making them flip between the columns and trying to reach the columns with more score. And this interpretation, in fact, doesn't take into consideration the fact that the slab has been cutted, and this is a reused slab, so it's not originally. It hasn't been projected to be in that place, but it's a reused structure. So the idea of a game of skill can match with the size of this slab, which is 1 meter large. So it matches with the idea of a game of skill. And the work of Matizia Maroni Lombroso quote Eduard Faulkner, and the idea that this can be a board game comes from this drawing at the end of the book of Eduard Faulkner. And this pattern has been found by George Dennis at the end of the 19th century on the Basilica Julia or around it. It's not precise. The book doesn't tell us where it is exactly this engraving, but it reported. And because of the presence of the many X symbols, which can be read as 10, number 10 in ancient Roman numbers, it has been matched with the slab that I showed before. Okay. this pattern seems to have something in common, and in particular the presence of lines and symbols between them, numbers or other kind of symbols. We don't know if it can be if they can be board games, but seems to be quite related one to another. In particular, because of the presence of the horizontal lines, we don't have any literary source that talk about it, and this makes everything more difficult. And curiously, in the same cloister, on the balustrade of the cloister, many other board games are scratched, and in particular this one seems to have a relation. Maybe this is not a board game, but this scratching seems to be related to the original one. And many other more recognizable board games are scratched on other part of the cloister and can be dated to the middle of the 14th century, at best to the middle of the 16th century. We can see an Eikerk on the left, Neiman Morris, probably trick-tracker in the down right corner, and also inside the basilica. Also inside the basilica, there is a tile which displays a Neiman Morris, another Eikerk, joined with a Neiman Morris in the upper right corner, and maybe an unfinished board game on the right down corner. Okay, and this is it. I don't have any explanation for that. Yeah, many suggestions, many ideas, but it's difficult to say something precise. The lack of literary sources and the lack of iconographic sources related to these probably ancient board games doesn't help. I know that it's not a good conclusion, but I think that this is the best that we can do with our information. Okay, and that's all. I hope that my timing has been respected. Perfect timing. Thank you.